library, charging my phone. I got my period, so I need to head over to HEB to buy pads for my period. Wash a few pieces of clothing. So I can have them clean for the next 2 days. I don't have electricity. My friend ran out of money to pay for my electricity bill. Then I need my phone to get my VIA bus pass, so I'm charging it here. What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm reading through Instagram. There's a self-deportation program, apparently. So I'm reading about it. What else? What else? What else? What else? Historic. Oh, this goes hand in hand with this. A lot of people are living in inhumane condition due to my family of origin for the most part, abusing them because even though if they're here legally, they don't deserve to be mistreated. They just need direction into do you need to cash in your money and turn it into dollars and buy yourself that usually money exchange what they're seeking and they're afraid because they've been carrying so much money possibly in undesired conditions with people that scared them, so then they go through panic of like, now great, if I buy myself that home and my dream everything that I already have in Mexico and other places and get everything legal. Now in the bus that I arrived, there were like three people that look shady and have me stressed that they're gonna be like knocking on my door of my mansion and trying to stay there illegally. That some people say stress that comes when you do something illegal. If that person had arrived legally to the United States, waited the process for to be approved, even if it's 6 months, I don't know how many years, or never, if they don't get approved, they think they have a better chance of just arriving and creating the paperwork after their arrival. Anyway, so there's a lot of people possibly that are living in undesired conditions, no electricity, so they look poor, so that they don't become a victim of theft, domestic violence, abuse, because they enjoy their own company anyway. So they're like, whatever, I'll install in electricity when I feel like it. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? So there's travel assistance and stipend for voluntary self-deportation. Texting didn't get on this one. So that gives them what, a day's worth of food, pads for their period, a woman, an Uber ride or taxi to get to a homeless shelter, at least if they have no support in the country that they came from. So with the strategic planning, $1,000 can last a person possibly a day, or if they have belongings. Because that's the issue too. They're possibly going to leave belongings behind unless they do a Craigslist thing and then PayPal their money to themselves. What else? 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 I just posted on Facebook, which I didn't plan to post, but this is good. And again, I'm not blaming the people that steal from me, that stay in my homes without my permission, that steal my vehicles, that get in the way of me receiving money and steal my money. What else? Doesn't Donald Trump always... What else? I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm bored. In the meantime, I'm going to receive money today. What else? I'm bored. Hey, I'm not turning on the sound on this. What else? In the meantime, you're getting my permission off. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? You could pay for my electricity through the CVS Energy Angels program. There's an option for a one-time payment. Here's the account number. It's 89169. The zip code is 78220. I may have to pay $25 to reinstate the electricity in my apartment. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I only have money literally for pads for my period in my bank account. I'm a victim of theft, domestic violence, genocide, abuse, a hate crime. Mostly everyone in my family of origin is a rape. Trying to rape me, Jaden and Kilani, because I don't allow that. They steal my money to starve me on purpose so I'm crying. And they're aware of it, that I'm hungry, and then they think that they satisfy me with their tits or their penises. They're disgusting. What else? 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 I miss Jada. I miss Kehlani. Jada and Kehlani have been with their dad 8 years since 2016. I haven't had financial stability since I moved out of living with him. That was not out of laziness. It's because I'm a victim of theft, domestic violence, rape. Like literally, my family of origin created a tag team of dumbness around me, trying to get me back to attend an orgy with them where people get raped, and I don't want that. So everywhere that I visited, that I encountered, to dance, to shop, to work, there's like a ton of leeches that are like, "Team go home, Arlene. Team go home, Arlene." So that way I can be the pretty girl in the nightclub. And so that way your second cousin rapes you until you die in your parents' home. And you're miserable. I miss Goody Two Shoes never does cocaine. A lot of people don't understand what that is. So I'm seeking the death penalty for thousands of people. Or some people self-defense because they've been into my home, sadly, illegally, and that's the only way out. At least for you to get here. What else? I don't want to be here. Forever find out about it. I'm bored. I'm bored. Anyways, I'm browsing through books today. Why is that opening? I'll do a maps, but I open school will be fine. Then open Google. What is it? Google.com. Everything that my mommy told me about the internet is right. What else? What else? What was I looking for? Oh, USA. What else? What else? What else? What else? Investing money. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? That's a cute top. What else? What else? That's a cute skirt. And another fabric or color. Lovely pillow. What else? That color? What else? 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 No, my home with the gear sometimes look like a clinic, except that first apartment that I had in Layton, Utah. It was so pretty. It was IKEA all the way. My parents and my siblings visited me, and my siblings are disgusting. So I went through like, oh, I don't want to kill myself, but my siblings were in my space. For me, they stay in my homes without my permission, steal my vehicles, and get in the way of me receiving money. It's like I'm seeking peace away from all of that. And they went on to stay in my homes uninvited. I didn't invite them. Ew, 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 ew. What else? What else? What else? USA. Is it not working right now? Anyways, I have like $12. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? When I'm financially stable, I plan to travel and plan and meet people. Ideally, fully harassment. Investigating my investing. Saturday, go shopping with Julie Kimon. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm bored. I set my bait today. I'm not wearing the same outfit I was wearing yesterday. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I just received $50. So is my sibling aware of my period? Because she's not disgusting. You can decapitate Marilyn Lorenzo Acevedo that gets in the way of my dad sending me money. She's disgusting. She's possibly keeping tabs of my period. She's not gross. She is a sex addict and a murderer, a thief, a rapist, and a porn addict. I'm tagging the FBI in this post, NATO, Interpol, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the Justice Department in the United States. What else? What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez and his sons that rape me and steal my money and get in the way of me receiving money. Their names are Andrew, Albert, Alex, Leach, Basura, Querosidad, que tipo tan puerco. Fo. What else? What else? What else? I posted on Instagram yesterday. When I'm financially stable, I plan to travel the planet and meet people ideally calling them listening. I made that decision for myself when I was 3 years old. Yolanda has held me back a little bit. I haven't failed her. As leadership, everything that she says, they take verbatim and get stuck to that. Very stupidly, a lot of the leeches that are porn addicts, and she's like, I'm here at your birthday gifting you money because everyone thinks that when I said that you need to be poor, I didn't mean that it's like starving poor. They've already announced to me that they're gonna starve me on purpose for a few years just for suggesting that you are poor. So you can't leave Aguada permanently so that you're in the family, people can observe you and become healthy if they aren't, or be healthy from day one. It's like I love a good church. And I can relate to that. Like sometimes people will say a sexual innuendo, I'm laughing at how that sounds like porn, but I'm not like everything that she says. They need to take it verbatim. Ew. Ew, 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 ew. So, yeah, she was reading my mind and my body language when I was trying. And like, there's no good boys here to date. Serious customers only. So I heard from her like while I was doing my bouncing thing of like, wow, her nephews are so dumb, so stupid. But whatever is that, if that's what they want to do with their life, okay, whatever. Awkward conversation going on here. I thought the leech straggler would have been picked up already by her parents at least like an hour ago, and these boys are here, and they're boys that I love. Never mind, never mind. They just got married to the leech asquerosidad esta. Wow. My entire time, my hair was just slightly blonder, possibly due to peroxide. Gloria knows. So she's like, she said to my parents, she's gonna be an excellent mother. I need her around. Possibly because I'm one less person wants to kill her too. So that is possibly another reason why she was adamant in suggesting that my parents keep me poor, but I'm not starving. So that I could help her abdicate the rest. What else? What else? What else? What else? When I'm financially stable, I plan to travel the planet, meet people ideally for. There's no social media right now. Other people don't want to ever be on social media. So I fulfilled having dating economy with daycare, which was part of that conversation. It's like, don't forget, you have a commitment to that boy that you and he are gonna have babies together one day. Like, yeah, but he can visit me anywhere that I'm at. What else? 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 What else I want? Anyways, at $50. Maybe get some hot food today that I'm comfortable wearing the same outfit that I've been wearing for like the past 5 days. That I understand. What else? What else? What else? Oh, did I even check the balance? Is it a new deposit? That's funny. Oh yeah. So what else? What else? What else? What else? What else? So it's not like Yolanda is a porn star director. Is that she's really hot. So those leeches that are addicted to porn and addicted to sex, they think that everything that she says, she's like the casting director, directing life, but they omit the part where she was very much graceful. Tell you, don't forget, child, at 3 years old, that not only you can't flee and leave me here alone because they'll kill me, that you have a commitment with that boy to have babies, That's not part of a porn that they're directing. I had not many conversations, at least once or two conversations with Jolanda, one privately, possibly one in front of leeches. How the UN needs more informal influencers. That wasn't a part of the direction of my porn storyline. They mistake that she's very attractive and possibly experienced, and didn't she? Like one day when I was like 2 or 3 years old, I was crying. She's like, Nena, ven aquí. In like 3 seconds faster than a conversation would have happened for her to tell me, like, stop crying. Like, no one's trying to kill you with a knife right now, right? Like, I don't see it. So sometimes because they suffer from anxiety too, and they possibly have people running at them with a knife, it's the easiest way. Back then I wouldn't. Now that I'm older, self-regulate and regulate the person that seems in distress with, like, no, por 2 segundos y ya. For real, I felt better than a hug back then, but I was like 2 years, and I possibly, because of toddler expiration, there may be videos where I'm possibly like all over that I don't ever want to see, because they've ruined like sexuality amongst, like, knowing that I did anything with them. I didn't feel raped or anything to have to report that. I thought, like, what a great way to end this conversation and my fear, and possibly hers. It never happened again. After that, I saw her once. After that, she got offended when I rejected her. I didn't even remember it. Possibly as a toddler, I've been bouncing on those titties for a while. And I consider her very attractive and very sexy. Better not to have sex with. To me, she's out of the family. The sex. What else? What else? What else? No, that I'm not. Some people get mad. They're like, "How can you pick someone that isn't you?" I'm like, I look at the a Playboy magazine sometimes. I'm like, wow, Playgirl, Donald Trump, really? And one gives the compliment. What else? They think that because I've labeled her as sexy, that then she's my porn director. They're stupid. Most people that I grew up around, they're stupid. And they hated that I didn't pick them. What else? So I have $50. Do I want another pair of leggings? Possibly. From CVS. I ate bread with a spoonful of peanut butter earlier. I ate dark chocolate. I ate chips from HEB. And I ate one in like 2 hours ago. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Someone's gifting me money today. Who's gifting me money today? What else? I made a decision to travel the planet. Ideally, and meet people, ideally polyamorous. What else? What else? What else? What else? We've both taken a beating. She and I. for trying to get people to do the right thing without even trying. What else? You starved when I was like 9 years old in retaliation for saying that I. Oh, this- something that could go wrong. Oh no, create a profile of your super fan or brand hero. I almost thought about Batman and Superman when I read this and went did the wrong thing. Now I hate this person. Anyways, I want to read this book. Speaking of restaurants. What else? 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 I want water with olives in a martini cup. As suggested here. What else? It's a liquid in a martini cup and olives. What else? 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 I'm bored. I'm bored. I'm bored. They've tried to kill her before. I say publicly on social media live that at the time I consider her like very hot, very sexy. We got love intelligence. I love intelligence. What else? Ain't a good mentor, it feels like, but it's just a family talk. It just happened that I was seeking always the right people too. It's like I'm just here like for 5 minutes, literally. And she was doing homework from college. She's like, by the way, you went. I'm like, yeah, I learned that in school. Okay. Well, you can decide if people can eat. Some people hold back on taking all the salmon for a grocery store, thinking that maybe one of you or us will need it when you get there. And I would hate to like be like I needed 50 and there's only 49. And improvise. Pero improvise is good. Improvise is good. And the food is going to waste anyways right now. And we're all so stressed out. It's difficult to host a party for everyone on the planet. With literally like one hearing that, okay, oh, so and so's trying to poison me, but why that isn't her husband? As in ella lo parió, es mío, está en mi libro y nadie me lo va a quitar. So we've had a lot of stress in the past, what, 44 years plus. We're trying to entertain the planet. Whatever that means for some people. They're like, I'll get my own phone and caviar. I don't want that plantain thing. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? However, there's always someone behind with their stay away from my man as if their man were this book that now belongs to Central Library. Though in a few days they could have it in the for free section for sale for 50 cents. And it may go on to another owner. I give away books all the time after I read them if the condition doesn't keep well for my taste. 270, 272 talks about Facebook. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Fun. Almost every restaurant has it. What else? 325. Do I want to shop at CVS? Possibly. What else? 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 Hi, Miss Data, Miss Kanani. You can give me money in person. Through PayPal. It's AR Blue Sky. Blue Sky Designs Go. En lo que estoy pensando. Straight to my heart. Arlene Lorenzo Art Shop. INTAY. IAFAY. Entire shop. My GoFundMe campaign is gofundme.com/f/Arlene-Lorenzo- I purposely missed Yolanda Lorenzo telling me in private, you weren't gonna give me back my husband ever. We're gonna take him hostage. He offered to sustain me financially. She's this project manager of my home, so I get to know, not my direct, that I'm dependent of her sustaining me financially. That would be Gloria Nirsa Ramon. Gloria Nirsa was an orphan and very abused by the family that took her in. So relied on, like, we have this and it's so amazing. What do we do? And my dad is of the thinking, yo lo voy a estropear a ella. Que sí, el pelo no lo tiene peinado, blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. Pero she's gonna seek the death penalty for everyone that steals from her and stays in her home without her permission. What else? What else? What else? I'm bored. I am bored. Who's gifting me money? What else? I've never had sex with a woman. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm bored. I'm bored. What else? It's not your book that you bought Barnes and Nobles. And you don't get to tell people, stay away from my book. If he's a man. What else? 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 I, on the other hand, I have to say, stay away from my man, stay away from my vehicle, stay away from my home, stay away from my books, stay away from my panties. No, really? Stay away from my food, stay away from my water and my home. What else? What else? What else? Que asco de gente que I grew up around. They're disgusting. They're embarrassing. What else? What else? What else? Who's gifting me money today? It's slow, however, very promising. I've only received $451 now. What else? So I'll charge my phone here. My laptop is charging too. And also head over to Central Oatmeal. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? More. In the meantime, I've done a great job not blaming people on Facebook. Victim of theft, domestic violence, and hate crime. So I've done a great job at not blaming people on Facebook. Oh, creepy, but did I already say that? Did he Photoshop his face and his brother's face in every picture that they're with me? Okay, isn't he like right here pretending to be people that he isn't with those fake profiles based on what he told me decades? What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate me having solace on the sons that rape me, that steal my money and get in the way of me receiving. I'm bored. I am bored. In the meantime, I'm gonna send my GoFundMe campaign to people to do Instagram. What else? 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 They suffer, but you know this. Well, from Give Back, you've had it way too long. And it's the man that they're talking about. They don't go up to the man, or if he rejects them, he's like, no, porque ahora mismo estoy con fulana. So basically, they're spelling out rhythm. It's like, I've been with so and so, estoy tranquilo con ella, y pienso estar con ella como, no sé, sometimes they say no sé, sometimes they say for the next 6 months, 3 años, whatever, toda la vida. So then they go on, they get in their vehicles and they visit the female or whoever it is, and they go on and say, give him back to me. Él lleva contigo, se quejó, me dijo que ya lleva que 3 meses contigo y que va a estar y que más de 6 meses contigo también. Él estaba quejándose hoy de que estuvo que ya lleva mucho tiempo contigo, 3 meses, y que piensa estar 6 meses más contigo. Give it back to me right now. Te mato a tus hijos, te mato a tu hija, a tu madre, todo el que se te va a llevar encima. I don't know what the outcome is for some people, but not sometimes. I've heard that the man feels taken hostage and it says whatever. Literalmente la amenazó de muerte. De que no. What is it? De que no esté conmigo. So I'm just gonna be with the person que amenazó eso de muerte, pero yo no quiero que me maten. And they break the commitment that they had with someone over some stupid person that doesn't understand manners and goes on saying give it back and doesn't understand rhythm and doesn't understand progression, doesn't understand polyamory, doesn't understand relationships at all. And then they go on bragging they're so embarrassed and they're like, fulano me dijo que iba a estar 6 meses más con esta. Y yo fui a hablar con ella, la amenacé de muerte, ella, la madre, los hijos, todos. Y ahora fulano está conmigo. O no, fulano llamó a la policía. Y ahora tengo un caso federal y todo. No sé si me van a dar probatoria. What else, what else, what else, what else? Aparentemente no es un libro. Yo no sé lo que es eso. Yo no leo. Like this. Yo no sé lo que es un libro, yo no leo. They're embarrassing, so gross, so stupid. What else? What else? What else? You can decapitate everyone that stays in my homes without my permission. You can decapitate everyone that steals my vehicles. You can decapitate everyone that gets in the way of me receiving money. You can decapitate everyone that steals in my homes. You can decapitate everyone that's trying to rape me. They were hoping for a, what is it? Hot tub party with David Ledesma to rape me. That's why she showed up at Garden, most likely. When I invited her, I thought she was just my Nordstrom co-worker. Then I cried. I'm like, why are these leeches around me? I don't want to be around these people. They're sexual harassers. They're trying to rape me. Que asco. They're disgusting. They're disgusting. You can decapitate Jessica, whatever her last name is. Gabriela Heiser. Do I tell her I was taking a left and give her to Instagram? Is that her or is that a fake profile? It could be a fake Gabriela Heiser profile. What else? What else? What else? They were all waiting. You can decapitate Gabriela Heiser. They all went on to work to Nordstrom thinking that I would be vulnerable enough for them to rape me with David Ledesma as if that's the man that could have gotten them all in bed with me when he even raped me. I filed a police report against him the other day for raping me in 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. You can decapitate Sarah Francis. You can decapitate Benjamin Suarez Lorenzo's sons that raped me, that steal my money, that get in the way of me receiving money. They find a clan of clowns, a carosidad de females, too, that like to rape women, apparently. They're disgusting. El tipo es un puerco. Una basura, una asquerosidad. You can decapitate Jimmy Tenda, Liris Alonso Suarez, que las calienta, las hype up. Babe, oh, you all went out together. Wash. ¿Qué se puso? Y le habló un hombre o una mujer. Voy a ver los videos de Warden. A ver con quién se empareja. Así, esa tipa es una asquerosa. I literally met her like 2 times in my entire life, and she leached onto me una asquerosidad, una basura. Her parents didn't work. I mean, her parents worked. And she would hang out with my parents when she was like 3 or 4. Ew, always observing everything that I was doing and then showing up to me and being, I can do better than you. So I've never had a relationship with her. She moves into my homes without my permission. She steals my vehicles. She gets in the way of me receiving money so I can date. She wants to try to position herself as the only female in my life. I'd rather that be Yolanda, but I'm not looking for that. Like for real, I have feelings for Yolanda apparently when I was a child. Pero I was doing toddler exploration. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? With my parents being present, supposedly, or leaving me in the care of people that they weren't beating me up. I think if I remember correctly, I was a toddler bouncing from vagina to dick to mouth until I said I showed feelings for my second cousins, and my parents are like, well, we need to like remove her from this setting because there's la leech. Esa querosina is trying to do competition with her, and that's not what orgies are about. What else? 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 I'm bored. So she's trying to seduce me and trying to make herself a lesbian with me when we aren't lesbians together ever. Her parents and my parents, more my parents, seem to have interest in her having a life coach a ver si aprende a ser mujer. So in many occasions they would send me over to her parents' home. They're like, go hang out with Jeffrey, go hang out with Molly for a little bit. Para que ella te vea like how you're mature, how you act like a woman, a ver si se le pega algo de lo bueno de ti. What else? What else? What else? So I would interrupt, or maybe I was being expected to be there. So I'm like, I'm so sorry. You're watching that. Can I just sit here with you? I said to Elva. My parents sent me here, and then she's what? What else? What else? What else? I'm like, oh, so you're in there now. So it's true, because why don't like a person can rehabilitate themselves and one doesn't start right away, possibly. So they're like, don't say que te enviaron, porque like that's the look that I would get. Si ella te escucha, then she's gonna be like, well, why is she here? I don't need a lesson on how to be a woman. How's that being a woman si la todo lo que están viendo telenovela? What else? 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 I'm bored. I'm bored. So she possibly conferred. This is why I didn't go on to. They study my thought process and they think that because I think something in their presence, I'm like, I think very deep into me what I will do, which is stay true to myself. And then my clearest body language thought to some people is I possibly thought, oh, so after I meet Sarah and Berenice again, and that Jamie girl is trying to rape me, and David Ledesma, oh, I'm gonna call Ginny Gendalides and be like, I just met some friends. And then you're all gonna end up raping me. So I possibly did sarcasm in my head. I possibly do that naturally. And they thought, like, yes, if we traffic her into poverty, after she meets Jamie, after she meets Sarah and Berenice, she's gonna call Genies and that ladies and be like, I have friends, and then they're all gonna hang out together. And then David Ledesma la puede violar otra vez. Mientras Arlene está presente y Ginny Gendaliri puede violar a Arlene. Y entonces Arlene se va a matar cuando Ginny Gendaliri le diga, get away from my man. ¿Cómo se para un libro? Look at all the pictures. He's been dating me and we just raped you. We just used you like a piece of garbage that you are. Because no man will ever marry you. Non-label polyamorous. La tipa una asquerosidad. She's embarrassing. You can decapitate Jimmy Jandaliris Suarez. You can decapitate David Ledesma. You can decapitate Jamie, whatever her last name is. You can decapitate Sarah Francis. You can decapitate Berenice Venegas. You can decapitate everyone that worked at Nordstrom trying to rape me. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? I'm bored. I'm bored. My computer turned off. So no, when I met David Ledesma, Jamie, Sarah Berenice, at Nordstrom and Garden, respectively. What else? 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 I didn't call Jimmy Gentalides and said, my new best friend. Look who I met. I don't want anything to do with Jimmy Gentalides ever in my life. Oh, she's disgusting. I'm following this. This is schools right here. All over again. Oh, so these are reposts. Oh, how cute. Miss Congeniality. Sorry. What else? What else? What else? That is not what I want to. What I want to follow is this. That's so me too. So relatable, all of them. What else? What else? What else? Let's go all over again. And there's so many times. What else? What else? What else? I'm bored. I'm bored. So relatable. What else? I'm bored. I'm bored. This is more than relatable. What else? Anyways, I'm gonna work on my diet and cook for myself and tell my body a little bit. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? What is on next set of? Who is DJ Dane?